If a picture was worth 1,000 words, then the image of Blue Jays manager John Gibbons leaning helplessly over a rail in the dugout on Thursday night at Fenway Park as All-Star left-hander J.A. Happ tried to extricate himself from a messy fourth inning would be all that this column needed. Truly, managing this ragtag Jays group is like solving a Rubik's Cube that has only 7 blue squares. Meanwhile, the good news. The crown jewel of Jays prospects, 19-year-old third baseman Vladimir Guerrero, Jr. is completing the final steps of recovery from a left knee injury suffered in a base-running incident at AA New Hampshire. Guerrero has turned heads all season, making a case at the age of 19 for already being in the majors. He is in Florida at the moment, on hold with a .407 average and a 1.124 OPS with 11 homers and 55 RBIs in 204 Fisher Cats at-bats. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., left seam here chatting with Jays right fielder Teoscar Hernandez, could be at AAA by the end of the month, Chris Urso, TNS, a Jays source has confirmed that instead of going straight to AAA Buffalo after he is activated, the almost healthy young Dominican slugger will play in a few league games at Class A Dunedin and with the rookie Gulf Coast Blue Jays. Guerrero is being encouraged by the Jays to attend the July 27-29 Hall of Fame induction of his father, Vladimir Sr. at Cooperstown, a gem of a village that is coincidentally about a 3-hour drive from Buffalo. That week, the Bisons are on a road trip to Louisville and Indianapolis before returning to Coca-Cola Field for a 4-game series on July 30th. Depending on how the Jays feel about his progress, his promotion may be earlier. The Bisons are on a 1-week homestand from July 16 to 22 as the MLB All-Star Game takes place in D.C. Article continued below, turning attention back to the Major League Jays as they crawl towards the All-Star break, without starters Aaron Sanchez, bruised finger, Jamie Garcia, left shoulder, Marco Estrada, glute, and minus closer Ryan Tepera, right elbow. On the position player side, they are still without Josh Donaldson, left calf, and, of course, shortstop Troy Tulowitzki, double-bone Spurs, who is close to resuming baseball activities but not close to resuming baseball. That being said, Happ remains the biggest trade chip for the Jays, but if the return in prospects or major league players was simply based on, "What have you done for me lately?" then GM Ross Atkins would be in trouble. On Thursday, Happ needed 98 pitches to record 11 outs, leaving after a fabulous 13-pitch at-bat by leading MVP candidate Mookie Betts that turned a 2-1 lead into a 5-2 deficit. In the month of July, in 3 starts surrounding his All-Star nod, Happ has allowed 18 runs in 12 innings. He has given up 19 hits, 8 walks and 4 home runs, with a 9.75 ERA and a 1.074 OPS. The All-Star left-hander has thrown 279 pitches to record 36 outs, which works out to 7.8 pitches per out. The Jays, in the situation in which they find themselves, need almost perfect defense in order to win, and they are not getting it. Facing a grinding Red Sox lineup in the 4th inning of Game 1, Happ induced a ground ball to short with 1 out and a runner on first base. The Jays held a 2-run lead. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. shoveled the Brock Holt grounder to Devin Travis, but he rocked back on the relay and took his foot off the base with the ball still in the air. The call was overturned on review. From there it was all downhill for the Jays. Happ contributed by slow playing a chopper in front of the plate that loaded the bases. After a force-out produced the first run, he had a chance to escape with the lead, but turned a 2-strike advantage into a base on balls to Jackie Bradley Jr. setting up the bat slam. Could life get any worse for the Jays heading towards the break? After Gibbons watched first baseman Justin Smoke clutch at his left hamstring legging out a double in the 8th, he was forced to pinch run for him. By the end of the game, trailing by just 2 runs, the Jays were left with a makeshift infield of Yangervis Solarte at first, Travis at second, Gurriel at shortstop and Russell Martin at third. What has happened? As a Jays fan, just take yourself back to the middle of spring training. The discussion at the time had the Jays as a top 5 rotation in the AL. 3 of those starters, Sanchez, Estrada and Garcia, are on the shelf right now, while Stroman, 3 months in, is just now rebounding to form. Article continued below. Gibbons, in March, was counting on one of the best young closers in baseball and a setup man that had just come into his own in 2017. Roberto Osuna has been suspended since May 8 and Ryan Tepera remains on the DL. Back in March, there was the energy of Donaldson entering free agency at the end of the season, motivated by needing to prove he was healthy, with a hoped-for return to the production of 2015, a year in which he was AL MVP. That scenario would have put him with the elite class of 18 free agents like Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. That's not even close to reality right now. Donaldson has been on the DL since May 29, will be difficult to trade by July 31 and impossible to trade in August, with competing teams surely prepared to block a deal with a waiver claim. In terms of competing with the rest of the AL moving forward, consider that the Jays pitching staff has a better batting average, .278, than the position players, .237, and that the top 10 hitters, heading into Friday's contest at Fenway, range in average between Martin at .179 and Teoscar Hernandez at .259. Richard Griffin is a sports columnist based in Toronto. Follow him on Twitter, @GriffinStar.